I'm coming. Here I come. Here I come. I know there's always a delay. There's always a delay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Quest Show. I am your host, Lana Quest. There is no co-host today. It is just me. Honor had some prior engagements that she had to attend. So it's just going to be me. I don't know what we're going to talk about today. We're just going to wing it. It will probably be a shorter show, but we're going to get through it. Typically, when it's just me, I pre-record these things so I can edit out all of my bloopers. So before we jump into something, I want to ask everyone out there to please share this video, like, subscribe. Thank you for our new subscribers. We did have a couple, so thank you for that. And we're going to get into the show. Sorry that you're going to see me looking at my phone. Typically, when Honor is here, I can like send out links while she's talking. I cannot do that. So you're going to see me looking down, unfortunately, as we do this show. Hi, Mary. Yeah, just Lana. It's just me. Anyway, so let's chat. There's some things that made me upset in the news this week. A couple of things made me upset in the news this week. One of the things that made me upset is the media. And it's not even just this week. It's just all the time. And sometimes you think like, okay, I love this news station, MSNBC. But then it's like, you guys are just for the ratings too. So let's talk about inflation since everyone else is talking about inflation. Like, why are we talking about inflation? We're talking about inflation right now because it's the midterms, right? So it's like the media likes to stir the pot of sensationalism. So we have to talk about the midterms because apparently, according to the media and according to the polls, inflation is more important than democracy, more important than freedom of choice and bodily autonomy, more important than getting to marry who you want to marry. Apparently, inflation is more important than voter rights. Like, I don't know what's going on out here. I guess people really want to, have some cheap food. They prefer that instead of democracy. Well, that's what the media is saying. Do we really know? We will find out, won't we? I am hoping that there are a bunch of MAGAs that probably are not around anymore because they've long gone and passed away. You remember, millions of people have died from COVID, and they were out here not wearing these masks. I know COVID hit everybody, but it definitely hit those MAGAs pretty hard. So I don't know if that's being taken into consideration with these pollings. I don't even know who they are polling. Are they getting all of these women and all these young women who probably aren't really telling anyone that what they're doing, but they're going to come out and vote for the people who are trying to say democracy? So let's talk about inflation because, yeah, there's inflation. But also there's inflation because when unemployment is down, so meaning more people are working, then more people are buying and they're purchasing the goods. That is why there is inflation. And we had a whole pandemic. That is also why we had inflation. I mean, look over there in the UK. They were at like up 10%. Inflation is global, people. It just is. Excuse me. I'm going to look down into the chat. Got to do that. But yeah, inflation is global. That's not something that Biden caused. And it's also not something the Democrats can like readily cure, nor can the Republicans. They're going to tell you that they can get rid of inflation, but no one can get rid of inflation. That's why they keep trying to up interest rates, because they want to slow the spending. But the more everyone is out here spending and taking vacations and buying cars and buying houses and buying the things, there is going to be inflation, because there is no incentive to bring the prices down. And at this point, corporations and companies are like, yo, let me get in on this too. So they're out here raising the prices of milk, cereal, and all these other things, because why? They want Republicans to win. Really think about the people who want Republicans to win, who will work really hard for the demise of the Democratic Party. It's going to be companies and corporations. Why? Because they get tax cuts from the Republicans. So, of course, they want to sabotage Biden and his administration, and the Democrats. They want to sabotage them because they're not helpful. Biden's talk about taxing these people, taxing the rich. The rich don't want to be taxed. They want you to pay. So that is why they're raising the price of your bread and your cereal and your milk and your eggs and all of those things. Also, there's a war in Ukraine. Isn't that where we're getting grains from, or we're supposed to be getting grains from? I don't know if we're even getting grains from there. I don't know where the grains are coming from now. But that is why the price of grain is high. And now you have the Saudis, right? What do they have to gain with a Democratic Congress? Nothing. What do they have to gain with the Republican Congress? Everything. So, of course, they're going to try to tip the scales any way that they can by cutting back oil production. They don't have to do that. Going to do that. Why? Because they know that Americans are gullible. And they know that every couple of years, this is what we do. Oh my God, inflation. We're not making any money. Biden doesn't do anything. We have people literally waiting for, I don't know, knocks on doors for him to like pass out, I don't know, gift cards. Like, what do y'all want? Let's go over the things that Biden and this administration have accomplished, and not everything, but just some. Let's just go this past week, right? Federal weed convictions, minor weed convictions on a federal level. He pardoned over 2,000 people. Who does that impact? Who is that helping? People of color, because we're jailed disproportionately. So that's going to help people of color on its face right away. And then he challenged Republican governors or other states, because he did it on the federal level. States, you too should release these minor offenses. I mean, they got marijuana is classified as heroin. That's crazy. Ain't nobody overdosing on marijuana. You're going to sleep. You ain't overdosing. You're not smoking weed and going out in that vehicle and like being a speed demon. It doesn't work like that. And trust me, I know it just doesn't work like that. You're going somewhere and going to bed for real. Hi, Michelle. It's just me. Anna has other things to do tonight, so I am holding down the fort, and we are talking about inflation, and how Biden has not caused it. So, right. So on its face, he did that for weed. And guess what the Republicans said in those states? We're not releasing these people. We're not releasing these people. And I'm going to be all over the place too, because, midterms are here. Everyone is talking about inflation in their pocket and pocketbook issues. Aren't these pocketbook issues? Whether people of color, Black men in particular, are put in jail for a minor weed offense? you, because now he is out of the family. That is a breadwinner that cannot work and bring home money because he's in jail for having weed. Like, that's ridiculous. Guess who says they're not letting anyone, they're not pardoning anyone? Republicans. They're not going to pardon people for weed offenses. They don't care. Okay, something else. School loan forgiveness. The things went out this week, the link, so that you just go on. And if you haven't done it yet, I will put the link in the description. It is a link. You go onto the government website. It's one little form, not even a whole sheet of paper, just a little form. It takes you literally less than 3 minutes to fill out. Name, social security, date of birth. That's basically kind of what it is. And then they do the rest. They will find out if you qualify, and then they will email you back within a couple of weeks and let you know if what you qualify for, if you do qualify for loan forgiveness. Guess who doesn't want this to happen? Republicans. Like, so I'm just so confused because all of this is tied into the money. So if you're so concerned about inflation and if money is driving you, wouldn't this help you? Right? Wouldn't some money back help you? Wouldn't some loans being forgiven help you? What, Republicans out here with no school loans? Y'all's kids don't have no school loans? Y'all don't have no school loans? Y'all don't want this forgiven? Because guess who doesn't want you to have them? Republicans. Like, why do Americans have such short-term memory? It is baffling to me. The minute Republicans start going, hey, white ladies in the suburbs, crime, shooting, kill, crime, y'all lose your minds. Like, you just forget about everything else they're doing. You gotta stay focused. You have to stay focused. What else happened this week? So it's the weed. Those people are being released on the federal level. Your school loan forgiveness, those application things rolled out this week. What else are they talking about? Oh, just midterms. Early voting has started. See, these are the parts that if I pre-recorded this, that I would just be deleting so it would seem seamless. It's not gonna be seamless tonight. Early voting has started. It started a couple of weeks ago. There's some states. Georgia started this week. So if you're in Georgia, you should be early voting because that is what that's the bulk of it. Early voting, right? It's easier, it's quicker. Early voting, if you've gotten your mail-in ballot, don't wait till the last minute. Fill out your mail-in ballot. Some people here in Massachusetts have gotten their mail-in ballots. Do not forget to sign your mail-in ballots. I believe in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have Texas is going to be early voting in the next couple of weeks. I think Ohio has already started. Florida will be voting in the next couple of weeks as well. Get out there and vote. We say this all the time that this is the most important election, but if we lose the Senate, then what are we going to do? You may not be able to vote anymore. I mean, you're talking about inflation. Hey, what if you want Republicans to fix inflation and then they don't fix inflation? And then you go, by golly, we're going to vote these Republicans out, in 2 years or whatever, in 4 years. Guess what? You're not going to be able to, because if Republicans get control of Congress, you think that they're suppressing votes now? You ain't seen nothing yet. Nothing yet. We are going to get to a point, Republicans may have to have us take a test to vote. Like, really, we may get back to the point of guessing jelly beans because it's really going to be non-existent for Democrats, in particular, Black and brown people, indigenous people who really, we don't talk about them much, but indigenous people that live on their land, they have a very hard time voting because there are no mailboxes there. There are no polling stations near them. A lot of them live in poverty, so they have a very hard time getting to these polling stations. And it's going to be like that in a lot of districts that are majority Black and brown people. Also, I read today Alabama doesn't even have early voting. Like they don't even care. They're not even hiding it. None of them are hiding it. They just don't want you to vote. Republicans have got, remember there was a time when Republicans were like, Michael Steele, I think he was the head of the RNC, and they had this whole thing that they were going to try to reach out to, people of color, get more Black people involved with the conservative party. You know what I mean? Just get into the community. Republicans said, F that. Trump came along. He's like, excuse me? We just cheat. Why do we need to reach out to Black people for? We just stop them from voting. That's what we're going to do. And they have taken that mantra and they have run with that because that is exactly what is happening. So if you're sitting around here talking about, I'm not going to vote because the government doesn't work for me, then you really need to understand how government actually works. Because if you think that government's not working for you, that means that you don't understand it, right? There's a lot of people, we see them on Twitter all the time, on social media, on Facebook. These people, I'm not going to be on the Democratic plantation, or they're not doing anything for Black people specifically. None of these things help Black people. Obama didn't help Black people. Like, why do Black people need to vote? Tangibles, tangibles, tangibles. That's what I need. I need reparations. Like, it's so baffling because you just want to ask, but how do you think you get them? Like, reparations don't grow on trees. Like, they don't grow on trees. They're just not going to pop up out of the sky. Tangibles just don't happen. Like, you have to vote the people in who also agree with these things, right? Like, that just seems like basic common sense. And I don't know if you have Kemp or Abbott or DeSantis throwing y'all in jail, y'all ain't getting tangibles anyway. So it don't even make any sense, y'all. Like, don't listen to that hype. Please educate yourself. Get out there and vote. So that's my spiel on like inflation and midterms. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, we can't lose the Senate. You're absolutely right. Hi, DA. Nice of you to join us. You want me to do some sports? Can do that. So let's talk about what's next. What else? Ron DeSantis. Okay, that made me mad this week. Oh my God. Okay. Did you people see the video of the election police going around rounding up voters to actually arrest them? That's what the election police were doing. So Ron DeSantis had a stunt in a show, whereas he pulled out, and this was like the one time, I guess, the police are wearing the body cams, because normally they don't wear body cams. But police footage shows police going to majority Black people, their homes. One guy, they went to his house. Are you such and such? Yeah, that's me. Well, we have a warrant for your arrest, sir. What you mean a warrant for my arrest? For voter fraud. What you mean voter fraud? Well, sir, there's an arrest that you voted illegally, so that's a felony. We got you on 2 felonies, so we're gonna have to take you down to the station. And it's I see here that they dropped your bond down to $500, and he's just looking like stunned. So now here's the suppression part, right? Because now he goes, I didn't want to vote anyway. My uncle and my brother told me that I should vote, and I went to vote. What kind of state is this? You told me I could vote, and then now you're arresting me for voting. What is this? I didn't want to vote anyway. That's the suppression, because do we think that he's going to vote in another election? No. Then they went to an old Black lady. Ma'am, we have to take you in. There's a warrant for your arrest. What you mean warrant? Voter fraud. Ain't did no fraud. So this is on purpose. DeSantis is literally going around. Hey, you can vote. Yeah, you can vote. Yeah, sign up. Sending you the card. Yeah, congratulations. You can vote now. And telling these people to vote just so he can turn around and arrest them for a stunt in the show. Because you know what? We know that Ron DeSantis loves a little stunt in the show. We see what he did to the asylum seekers. He will sacrifice your body, your soul, if you're a person of color anyway, for his political gain. Like, you really have to be a monster, right? To, in your head, have a master plot. Like, we're going to go and we're going to get some, people who have some felonies. They have the right to vote, but we're going to make it so let them sign up. And then we're going to turn around and then we're going to arrest them. Like, he knows that he shouldn't be doing this, but he doesn't. It's the show, right? He doesn't care if they come back and sue the state of Florida. What's going to happen to this white man? Nothing. He doesn't care. Them few little whatever that he'll just give them to make this stuff go away. Because it wasn't about that. It was about the stunt and the show. To show the rest of the Floridian MAGAs, like, oh, I'm tough, and him and his tight clothes on, look at all tough. I'm so tough that I am fighting election voter fraud for the Black people anyway. But the white people over at the villages, that retirement complex with the white rich people that was voting for the dead mamas and the dead grandmothers and whoever else was dead and voting 2 and 3 and 4 times, probation. Why? Voting Republicans, right? Because remember, Ron DeSantis is the one who literally wants to ask people before they get hired for a state position what their political lean is. So what does that mean, guys? Because Black people really can't hide too much their political lean. Usually they're just going to assume you're Democrat anyway. So they just ain't hiring you, right? You're just not going to get the job. Floridians, what is happening? I know you're a retirement place. I know that too. They're coming for you too. Elderly, seniors. What is happening? You guys got to be more in. They're coming for the Social Security and the Medicare as well. And here's the thing, like, you have to be just, it's like on purpose, you don't want the information. On purpose, you don't want to know. Because they're saying it, right? Even if you're watching Fox News, if you just go on their Twitter feed, their Facebook, their campaign websites, they're saying exactly what they want to do. It's not a surprise at this point. So if we vote these people back in and we know better, something's wrong with America. I mean, something is wrong with America, right? Like, it just really is, because we're really, we keep saying we're fighting for a democracy. I really don't think that a lot of people understand what democracy means, especially people of color. And I keep going back to our people because there's a big segment of our people that just don't vote. Black women, a certain age, we are very consistent with our voting. Black men, less consistent with voting, younger people even less consistent. The hope is that, the polling is wrong and that these young people understand what is at risk, because there is a lot at risk, because if we lose Congress, they're just going to try to overrule everything that Biden's done. Remember what happened to Obama? Nothing could get done. And that's what's going to happen. And there's no takesies, backsies. We're not going to go backwards. We're not going to be able to go backwards on this. Once it's done, it's done. Once it's done, it's done. There will be no voting rights. We need the majority. We have to hold the Senate. Who are y'all out here voting for Herschel Walker? Who's doing that? Hey, let's talk about the debates. Let's move on a little bit, because there were a few debates in between the last show and this show. Did you guys see Val Demings and Marco Rubio? It's interesting. I heard Marco talk and I'm like, I don't remember ever hearing Marco Rubio say any words. Like, I haven't heard him talk in years. You know what that means? Marco Rubio is not talking for the state of Florida. He don't care about y'all. He's not saying anything. He's just somewhere on Twitter writing Bible quotes that he really doesn't care about and probably hasn't been to church since Easter. Like, but Val Demings, she is it dragged or drug? Whatever the case is, she was dragging him from one corner of that room to the next corner of that room. He didn't have any answers for anything. And she's right. She literally looked at him at one point and she was like, when did you become a liar? Like, she asked him that. And she really did look perplexed. Because you have to, these are colleagues, right? These are colleagues. They're in Congress together. But he just started telling flat out lies. Oh, you're not tough on crime. Oh, you want just wide open borders. Like, what are you talking about? None of that makes sense. How could anybody want a wide open border? What sense does that make? Oh, Democrats want a wide open border so that people can come across and vote. How? The people here can't even vote. So we're going to let someone who's not from this country just walk across the border and then do what? Then what they're going to do? Well, explain. What do they do next? Walk into where? The local city hall and then do what? Then do what? Fill out what? Voter registration? What? Is that what they're going to do? And then have him put what for an address? Like, it doesn't make sense. That's the point. It doesn't make sense. But I know you're saying to yourself, girl, of course it doesn't make sense. It never will. To talk about this, it really is frustrating, but we talk about it because if we can just reach one person, right? Two people, a few people, then it's worth the aggravation of saying the same things over and over again like a broken record, because we do understand the bottom line. These MAGAs, there's no reasoning with them. They don't care. You show them proof. They don't care. They just twist themselves in a pretzel, because at the bottom and at the core, it's racism. Like, racism is what is driving these people. It is fear of the other. Democrats have become the white civil rights, the white allies that the civil rights leaders had, the Schwerners or the Viola, I forget her last name, who died for the cause. Like, they look at Democrats like that because, if you are actually helping these people, you're just as bad as these people. This is why they treat them so awful at the insurrection. That is why we're looking to find Nancy Pelosi or any, they were going to get them as well. You know, they were calling Dunn the N-word, you know what I mean? So yeah, they were racist and they will kill white people, their own people, because you're trying to help them. Because that's what democracy is making the playing field equal, to give equity to everyone, right? Like it's equal. They don't like that. And they're telling you they don't like that because they're fragile. And if you give someone else the same thing that they think that they deserve and they have just because of the color of their skin, they'll do anything to keep it. Anything. And it's like, just really think about it. Val Demings, Stacey Abrams, those women are badasses. And those debates, they murdered Stacey Abrams, murdered Kemp. Like she just was all over him. You could see her brilliance. It was everywhere. The way that she spoke, what she said, she called him out on the good old boys club. Like perfect. Kemp is just bumbling through things. Why? Because the Sean Kemps, the Marco Rubios, the Greg Abbotts, the Ron DeSantises, they ain't as smart as people think they are. They're just not. I don't care what school they went to, because let's think about it. We already know what happens with these people. They get into these places because of their money, who their father was. If they buy like or donate to the school, they get like a wing of the school, or your kids get to go to the school as long as you make a big donation. So this is how these people got into these places anyway. Half of them didn't deserve it and don't deserve where they are now. So now these brilliant, badass Black women are just coming in here, you know, running for all these offices. They are afraid, just women in general, but especially these Black women, because how dare you, Val Demings, speak to me like that? Yes, I know Marco Rubio is not necessarily white, but he kind of is, right? Because that is how he identifies for sure. He sure has white nationalist tendencies, so you can't tell me he is nothing but a white man. Same thing with Ted Cruz. So they're afraid of these Black women. And they're right. And I think Stacey Abrams and Val Demings made the same little notation, the Good Old Boys Club. If you don't know what the Good Old Boys Club is, look it up. That's like that white gentleman's club when they're all smoking them cigars and checking the newspaper to see how much money they made from their NRA stocks. That's the Good Old Boys Club. And it's very hard to break through that. White men and white women tend to vote like their Republican white husbands. It's very hard for them to separate from that. Those Republican white men, they're very afraid of equality because they feel like their job's going to be taken away. Because, you know, they got here by being kind of lazy. Like, let's just be real about it. They got here by being a little lazy. All the DeSantises and the Kemps and the Abbotts and the Josh Hawleys, they just did. Whereas someone like Ketanji Jackson worked her ass off. Val Demings worked her ass off. Stacey just putting work in. Like one of the hardest working women there is, getting other people elected. And how dare anyone as hard as Stacey Abrams out here working to get everybody elected, to get people registered, working for the state of Georgia, for anybody to accuse her of forgetting about the Black man. As hard as she works. That's pretty insane. That's kind of crazy. We gotta pull it together, America. We have to pull it together. I do have some good hopes. Hopefully, Fetterman is in the lead. Hopefully, we have Pennsylvania. Hopefully, we get Ohio, right? Because Vance is a whole trash. So I know that's a tight race as well. I'm still praying for Stacey, because if anyone deserves that, Stacey Abrams definitely deserves that spot. Who else is running? Cheryl Beasley. I hear that race is very close in North Carolina as well. So I don't know. It's out there. What else happened this week? I know it's like 8:37. This is going to be a short show. I don't know what else to talk about. Again, this is the stuff that I would be editing out. You know what made me mad? I wasn't going to talk about it. So, Kanye West. It's just like, let's just talk about the I don't want to talk about, because I don't know what's wrong with him. We just know something is wrong with him. But let's just talk about the dangers of what he's done, because it really is dangerous. Like, it's not, his platform is so large. We already have his crazy people out here. And for you to be running around with some White Lives Matter nonsense on with Candy Owens, like, come on, man, do better than that. It's so disrespectful. Like, it's just like, why Black men are out here letting themselves be used by the Republican Party, because that is just exactly what this is. Herschel Walker just being used. Kanye, they don't care about you. They just want to use you. They are so happy that they found some people that can shuck and jive for them. It's like, you literally, that White Lives Matter t-shirt that he had on, I was like, yo, why do I keep having visions of Kanye in a white sheet and hood? Because that's what that reminded me of. Like, he was literally wearing a Klan outfit, because that's exactly what that is, because we all know what that means. We all know what that means. And like, to be that disrespectful to the Floyd family, it's like, we already know, we know Candace don't care, but I guess we also know Kanye doesn't, he don't care either. I don't know what's going on, but he's definitely drank some of the Kool-Aid. So anyway, and also, not only that t-shirt, then it's like, wow, I'm not being trashy enough. Let me just go full throttle, white supremacist on him. Let me just go full throttle. So I'm just going to throw some, anti-Semitism out there too. Let me just do that as well. And then, you know what? I finished. I'm just going to top it off with George Floyd didn't die from that knee. He died from a fentanyl overdose. Like, he said that. Like, I doubt if Kanye even watched that trial. He probably didn't. But the nerve of you, like, shut up. If you don't know, shut up. Like, what is wrong with you? So in response to that, the George Floyd family has filed a lawsuit in the name of George Floyd's daughter for $250 million. Defamation is one of those things. It's like a really, really high bar to get there. I know it seems like it's easy because of what happened with Alex Jones, because like every trial he has, he's just paying and billions of dollars, and he's going to be paying until the day he dies. I get that. But that was particularly egregious. You have a man that was making money from not only telling vicious lies about these children, his lies caused these MAGAs to do atrocious things to these families, say atrocious things to these families, go to the grave sites, like threaten to pee on the graves of these children. Like, that's what was going on with this case, where these families had to move, like, that bad. With the George Floyd family and the defamation lawsuit that they filed in the name of the daughter, it has to get to that point for them to actually get some millions of dollars, right? So like, it would take a while. Like, it's not like he just said that and then that caused all of this pain. Of course, it re-traumatizes you, but this is $250 million defamation. Again, it's just one of those things that's a very high bar to make, and it really has to cause some real damages for you to get that kind of money. So, I mean, I hope that they do get that kind of money, but I also hope that they don't have to go through the things that the Sandy Hook families went through. Something tells me that if people try that nonsense with the Floyd family, they're going to be very surprised with some responses that they get. I'm just saying, I don't know that for sure, but I don't know, that maybe. What else happened? And then I'm going to close out. Anything there? Mary, you still with me? Michelle, you guys still with me? I'm not going to do the quotes and questions unless you want me to. I do have some quotes, but I feel like I'll be sitting here waiting for you guys to answer, and it'll be a little awkward. So maybe I will save these. I think I covered everything. Inflation, debates. We talked a little bit about weed. We talked about Kanye. Dang it. I think we've done it all. Sorry, I'm just looking to make sure, checking all of my notes. Yes, we have just about talked about it all. Oh, let's say happy birthday to Kamala Harris, our favorite vice president. Her birthday is today. So happy birthday, Kamala Harris. Thank you guys for dealing with me through this. Hope it wasn't too painful. I need to get better at this one show solo, but I do miss my co-host Honor, and hopefully she is back next week. Maybe, I'm not sure, because I don't remember what people tell me from day to day, so I really don't know, but I will be here next week, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mary, for showing up. Thank you, DA, for popping in. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys